So, sometimes you just gotta dance. Sometimes you just gotta paint. And today we are here to paint and dance. So, just curious if you ever wonder if there's something that you can do about your watercolor experience, because today I wanted to share with you one thing that I believe could be a big part of what's ruining your art. I like to share the little tidbits, the little conversations, and we'll chat about it as we paint together today. But I do hope that it can help you relax your shoulders, take away some of the stress as you stop doing this thing, and it can help you have a little more time to dance. So let's get to it. Spraying down our paints today. And I've got my watercolor brushes from my line here. So these are available for purchase. If you're interested, you can click the link below. We've sold out at least half the sets or more. And so we do have some left, so check those out. Paper towel for dabbing. I've got my Mead & Watercolor paper. This is 100% cotton, 9x12. Again, Winsor Newton paints, water. I've got a pencil. If you're interested in checking out this paper, it's lovely and it's linked below as well. So we're gonna start with just a really brief sketch. And you know, this is something that I've done before in one of my classes. I have different references that I use. I try to have so much fun with doing different things. So we want to sketch out, I've got a colored pencil, right? So it's gonna show up. I'm gonna sketch out the lip of my pot. So I'm just curving around, trusting my wrist to lead me on. And then I'm going to round up, curve shape here. That's the top of that lip. And then over here as well. Now don't worry if it's not perfect. It is art and it's gonna be wonky, and that's okay. Let's do that same really thick lip. See, that's nice. Arc it around. The reason why I like to sketch this out is because it gives me confidence for the next layers and the next steps. So now I'm going to start a little bit in from the lip, and we're just gonna go curving it around to make that pot shape. Let's do the other side. I use a little brush stroke, or little marks so that I'm taking my time, and it's okay if the lines are a little wonky. Now this is going to go a little bit rounded here for the front of the flower pot, and we have it together. So now what do we do with this? We're going to make some just random flower shapes. Don't overthink it. I'm going to fix this a little. It's okay. The lines are okay. I'm not worried about those lines. To me, it gives it just a nice look, little attitude as well. I said attitude, I did. Okay, so, and I know you're here trying to figure out, like, what is this thing that's ruining your art and what can you do about it, right? So as I'm making these petal shapes, I'm gonna do 5 and then we'll chat about it. 1, just let your pencil or pen be wonky. 3, 4, and then there's 1 in there too, kind of hidden behind. We're gonna do some side facing. And once you get the hang of this, you'll just be able to kind of go on your own and not like rely on exactly where I'm putting them, okay? So the big thing, you guys, I think that's ruining your art is comparing your work to the work of others, but not only just to others. So I'm gonna get to that in a moment. As we're chatting about this and as we do little side-facing florals, just kind of popping out of the pot here. Very loosey-goosey, easy-peasy. Let's see. And we can even do some that have like a little, like they're tilted. So then you kind of go like that. And now that's a tilted look. We're just going to keep building on these. So when we start comparing our work to others, it draws us down. It really makes us feel insignificant, because guess what? There's always going to be someone else that's better. There's always going to be someone else that does know more than we, has more experience, that maybe has talent that's just somehow it feels innate, right? That it's just something that they've had, and we don't seem like, it doesn't seem like art comes as easily to us. So that's one thing I encourage you just to stop doing, okay? When you're sitting here doing this tutorial as well, you're gonna have some thoughts of, you know, what you see me do and whether you like yours better than mine. I mean, I hope you like yours better than mine. But if it comes into the point where you think that maybe yours isn't the way you want it to be and you're looking at mine, stop it. Don't do it. It's only going to bring you frustration. So comparing your work to others is tough, especially with, you know, social media. We just do it all the time. Let's go ahead and fill in some spaces with some wonky petals. See how fast I'm going now? Because I'm starting to feel confident. I'm starting to feel like I know what I'm doing. And honestly, at the end of the day, the shapes don't really matter. Like, you're going to put them in and it's going to be lovely. I'm going to put some that just draw out right there. I'm actually going to put in some leaves too. Maybe these will become leaves. I don't know. But anyway, and just a few right here. I don't want to think about perfectionism of it all being completely round and balanced. I want it to just look natural and beautiful on its own. Okay, so now that we have that, it's really that easy part of starting to add in the color. Now, I do want to put in some lines here, actually. I want this to be part of this painting experience. So I'm literally going to go like this. And I'm just going to add in where I think there might be some shadow. So kind of curvy lines like this. They're not stick straight. I'm just going to go up the side of this space. It's going to be part of the texture in the watercolor. Something a little different. It's okay to do different, right? It's okay to do different. Drawing is good too. So now that we have that in there, we're going to start adding our watercolor. All right, so I'm going to use my big, large brush, my filbert, but you can use whatever brush you have, a flat wash or a large round. And we're going to start with our burnt sienna. Beautiful, lovely, warm brown color. And I'm just going to start adding this in. Now, the beauty of having your lines is it's already figured out for you, basically. You don't have to worry about your edges because you already have them. And now you just get to play and add color, which I love that part. So just kind of painting that in. So the next thing, you know, you shouldn't compare yourself online, right? Well, don't compare yourself with your friends either. Do you have friends that are artists that are in maybe the same beginner or intermediate or whatever, even advanced? This is something that advanced people deal with too. Maybe you've been learning together. I'm just gonna smooth that out like this. Let's grab some yellow while we're doing this on the other side for that brighter, lovely light coming in. So, you know, maybe you're at the same level, but maybe you feel like you haven't advanced as much as they have. And so what? What does that do by comparing your work to them? It's getting you to a space, I'm gonna skip some where there's a highlight coming in. It's gonna get you to a space where you are starting to doubt yourself, your abilities, your work. We're just going to blend these together. We're just having fun, guys. We're just playing. All right, so now grabbing more concentrated yellow and popping that in wet on wet. So be loving and kind to yourself. Don't compare yourself with your friends. Don't compare yourself online. And the next thing, it's going to sound a little weird. Also, you know, comparing yourself to yourself can also be detrimental. Now, I know on this channel, I've said this before, that you should keep your sketchbooks and you should kind of compare from whence you came, like how far have you come? Let's add in some more of that brown wet on wet this side, right? And it can be helpful. Just pop in that color. But sometimes I've gotten emails from people lately or they said, you know, I've been making progress, but now I feel like I've regressed. Like the work that I've done, you know, 6 months ago or a year ago or now, it looks better than now. So they're actually feeling like they've regressed in their journey. So if you are that person, keep popping in darker color. Just play with this, blend. If you're that person, it might be better for you not to compare yourself in any way, but just to think of, okay, well, I'll give that away in just a minute, but more just, you know, where can you go from here instead of thinking about all this stuff, because we get so bogged down, right, with our thoughts about what we should be doing and what we're not doing. So see, I'm just brushing this and blending these together. And we've got our yellow, and I am outside the lines, and I'm okay with that because this is a sketch, and you can paint outside the lines. It can actually be quite therapeutic to do that, where you allow yourself to do that. It feels like it's messy, but when we grew up, we were told you had to, you know, draw and paint within the lines. Well, guess what? You don't have to anymore. You can do what you want. So I'm encouraging you to do what you want. Okay, let's take a break from that. We're gonna grab my number 1 quill. If you have a 10 or a 12, it's gonna work quite nicely with what we're doing here today. And we're just gonna pick some beautiful colors that we love for our flowers, all right? This is such an easy part. So I'm gonna swirl on my brush, grab some pink, and put the pink in there. So easy. You don't have to stay in the lines. This is a very relaxing, take off some paint, therapeutic practice. Because you can do what you want. You can let these colors spread as well. And I'm actually going to do wet on wet, I think. So that would mean just take more concentrated pink, poking some of that in to the center, taking some concentrated orange, poking that into the center, and just seeing where those colors go. They're going to spread and flow and get really pretty. You can even do some petals that have different colors. You know, they don't all have to be the same. This is meant to be something where you can just like breathe, relax, let go, and just play. Now, so what are you supposed to do, right? If you're not supposed to compare yourself, because if it's getting you stuck, right? If you're fine with it and comparing yourself and others with your work, if you're fine with that and it doesn't affect you, then I'm not saying to stop. It's when it's not working for you anymore. Think about what are the alternatives? What can I be focusing on? So for me, in my head, I would say focus on now, okay? The here and now. What do you like about your art? And what do you want to continue? So maybe write some notes. This is what I like. I like how consistent I am when I show up to paint. I show up to paint, you know, 5 times a week or something, and that is something to be celebrated. I show up without feeling anxious and worried about, you know, these things. And I don't know, maybe that's not your experience. But if those are those things, then write them down. I like how I can paint wet on dry and I have a good sense of color theory or whatever. Just write it down. Encourage yourself. Maybe it's like I like that I paint really loosely. I'm just changing up the color, just kind of mixing things as we go. If you feel like there are strengths that you have, you've got to showcase those. And then write down what you don't like. Like writing it down makes it real, makes it come alive, helps hold you accountable to some things, some changes. And then you can maybe set a goal and work on those things, okay? Focus, okay, so it's not comparing yourself to others or yourself or online, or not even comparing yourself from last week or last year to now, but it's on focusing on now, what changes you'd like to make, and then it's also focusing on the future, what you'd like to see differently. So, you know, where you'd like to be, set goals. If you don't make it, you say, okay, reevaluate. I hope this makes sense, you guys. I want to help your mental health feel like it's in a better place when it comes to art. We have so much stressors in our life already. And focusing on, having art be part of that stress, to me it doesn't make sense, but I do it too. So it's not like I'm saying anything bad if you do that. It's normal and common, but it doesn't have to be. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It doesn't have to be the way it is. We can change it. How are you feeling right now? Kind of take a break if you need to, kind of reevaluate. Where are you at with this pot drawing, this sketching? A little different than what we usually do, right? I'm having fun with it. Now, I have to tell you, I do comparisons as well. I'm doing it right now and trying not to. I've done this pot of flowers several times, and I have my favorites as to how they turn out. And so there's been, the first time I did it, I wasn't talking. I was just doing it on my own, and I really loved how it turned out. And then when I'm teaching and talking, sometimes it doesn't turn out exactly how I want it, and I can get down upon myself on that. So being being gracious and reminding yourself that every time you practice it, something new will come out, and just embrace what you like about it. Let's do some shadow here, okay? So I'm actually going to put in some dark on this side. Some dark, just some streaks, easy peasy, dark streaks. And then over here, I'm going to put in some yellow, some light, bright light over here. Just, I thought it'd be fun just to kind of bring in these two to contrast each other. Okay, and just see how that feels. Clean your brush, dab your brush, spread out your paint. A little bit more of that darker blue. Adding that in. And then I'm going to pop in more dark right around here. And then a little bit more yellow on this side. Okay. All right, so let's let that dry. We're always going on to the next layer. I'm going to dry these things and then we'll continue with our work. Okay, here we are at the next part. I'm going to take my quill, that larger brush, and I'm going to start adding in some various greens to fill this in. So on my palette, I've got my 3 greens that I love. This is a green gold, greenish yellow. Then I've got my sap green, a little bit more of a grass green. And then I've got this beautiful emerald green. And I also have my blue that I like to mix in with my greens. So I'm going to do some lighter first and then go into some darker ones too. So again, you can dab your brush if you want to take off all that paint. I kind of like it. Well, yeah, it was a little bit soupy. I like it a little soupy, but maybe not too soupy. So what I'm doing, this is a very easy part. So feel free to just do this wherever on there you want to have some contrast of the greens. So lighter, medium, and dark, and that's going to give us more of that realism. And then some of our solid, beautiful sap. That one's pretty dark. And we're just going in between, filling it in. It's a pot of beautiful florals. And we want to complement those florals with different shades of green. So if you're thinking about comparison and how that fits into your life, can you see how it might be having a bad effect on you? If it does, consider letting it go. And sometimes when we are trying to get out of that trap of comparison, we actually have to take ourselves out of the situation. So I'm going to dip, swipe, dab, and go a little bit lighter values. Let it just kind of cascade over like this. And that means, you know, if Instagram is your problem, like let's just go ahead and go with stereotypical Instagram. If that's what it is, maybe you need to shut off your feed, or maybe you need to make a timer so that you're not spending as much time there. Or maybe as you're looking at other artists, I'm assuming you're comparing yourself to other artists. You know, that's what we're just speaking of. Maybe you can, when you see their work, you can just compliment, leave a comment that's, you know, helpful and encouraging for them. Or maybe you say it out loud. Maybe you comment sometimes. Maybe you just say it in your brain, you know. That's what I meant out loud, of like, oh, I really love how that is. Or let me take a screenshot and try to like learn from that practice, try it myself. Or let me try to find a tutorial that helps me to paint like that. The whole thing is changing the mindset. When we start to get into that coveting and that jealous part, we feel like our art isn't good enough, and it just goes, you know, downhill from there. I hope that's making sense. See, I'm adding some here too. I just want it to be cascading over and so pretty and watery. So we've got a lot of water on my brush. We as in me. I don't know why I said we, but it's just me. So this can be done quickly. And if you need to pause the video, that's fine to catch up. I'm gonna grab some of this emerald and add in some blue to just darken it further. And this is where I'm going to start adding more contrast, wet on wet, poking in a little extra color. Wherever, it doesn't matter, but this is going to create the shadow that will make things come alive and, you know, maybe etch in just a little bit of shadow in between flowers you get that high contrast, you're gonna get a lot of beautiful depth that you're looking for. Over here, it's pretty flat. Add some shadow, it starts to really pop. In between the flowers too, covering that white space. Oh, I just love watercolor, isn't it amazing? I mean, you know it's amazing, which is why you're here, painting today. Watercolor is amazing. So high contrast, there we go. So while you're doing this, guys, if you are liking this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and also subscribe so that other people know that we're having a great time on this channel and the algorithm will say, hey, let's send more people over here to party with watercolor. So there you go, a little bit of pizzazziness. I'm gonna put some more down here, just creating some like drippy lines, I guess. Because why not? When you've got the darker, you can actually paint over what you already have a lot easier. And yeah, the contrast is so important to have. Now we need to do our centers. I was going to darken up the vase, but I'm actually going to leave it because I think I like the sketchy lines. I like the lightness. This is so intense. I don't want to take away from this. So that's my final decision on that. But I'm going to do centers. We're going to do brown. Got a brown right here. Swirling my brush to get excited paint. Really intense paint. And then we're just going to do my favorite stippling action. Okay. Need it to be less dry here. There we go. Stippling action. This is so easy. You can just do this in your sleep over and over again. So there we go. Let me know in the comments too, what do you think about this idea of comparison and, you know, when you compare your work to yourself? Because I think that, you know, we tell people, and I do it too, like, oh, let's see how far you've come. But what if you're in a rut, you know, and I hadn't thought of this until I received some emails from people who are dealing with it. And I thought, you know what a better way, what a great thing to talk about, because sometimes we regress, or we feel like we've regressed, or our expectations are high, and then we get frustrated because like, well, I did this much work, you know, a year ago, so I should be this far. That's the other thing. Maybe you have advanced, but you feel like you should be more advanced at this point. So it just kind of creates a bummer environment sometimes. Just got to be aware of it. You can always change it. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, it looks like the centers are in for pretty much everybody. There's so much high contrast in this painting, and there's a lot going on. I really love the greens. I feel like the greens just bring it together. I am simply going to grab a little bit more of that blue and just a few little streaky lines on the top, as well as some yellow here too, because I like that beautiful texture. Just trying to be artsy, you know what I'm saying? Be artsy. And then I'm not going to touch the vase, but I am going to do splatter because that's my favorite. So dipping in, grabbing whatever color you'd like for splatter. I think I'm going to go with pink because there's a lot of other colors on this page already. And I'm literally just splattering just where the plants are, I think, where the plant is. A little bit of magic and all the things, you guys. And that's it. Friends, do you feel a little bit lighter today, that maybe you could do a little dancing or a little singing or a little bit of playfulness that you don't always do? So much of watercolor painting is stressful in here, and if we can let go of that piece and that comparison, we can often just take things for what they are and not be so difficult in the process. I have to let you guys know that my watercolor brushes did launch and we have some sets left. If we do, by the time you watch this video, click the link below so you can get your own Tammy K watercolor brush set. It's perfect for florals, but you can also do amazing landscapes with them as well. And as always, I usually have a free class on Mondays, so click the link below. If there's a link there, that means we have a class and you should absolutely join us. I do want to mention the art retreat too. I still have a few spots left, so everything is linked below. You can just peruse it, look at my website for resources and all those things, and just have so much fun, hopefully, as you paint and enjoy your journey. And if you're not sure what to paint next, then watch this video here where I talk about some things I wish I had learned 5,000 hours earlier. Take care, happy painting, happy mental health.